So, today we're going to talk about Barbados. And I know what you might be thinking, beautiful beaches, right? But its story is so much more than that. It's a story about a complete transformation, incredible resilience, and what it means to forge a brand new identity. Let's get into it.
Yeah, when most of us hear the word Barbados, this is probably what pops into our heads. Sun, sand, sea. I mean, it's a world-famous tourist spot for a very good reason. But believe me, this idyllic image only tells a tiny, tiny fraction of its incredible story.
Because on November 30th, 2021, something huge happened. Barbados officially became a republic, which meant removing Queen Elizabeth II as its head of state. Now, that was a massive decision, and really, it was the final step in a journey that started almost 400 years ago. So how on earth did they get to this point?
Well, to understand modern Barbados, you have to go way back. You have to go back to the one thing, the one crop that completely shaped its land, its people, and its economy more than anything else: sugar.
What's really staggering when you look at this is just how fast everything changed. I mean, in a little over 50 years, Barbados went from being a pretty new English settlement to the absolute heart of a sugar revolution. And this wasn't just about farming, it was a whole new economic model. A brutal but incredibly profitable blueprint for the plantation system that would get copied all over the Americas. But this revolution, it came at an unbelievable human cost.
See, these giant sugar plantations needed a massive, non-stop workforce. At first, they used indentured servants from England and Ireland who'd work for a set number of years. But as the demand for sugar just exploded, the planters turned to a much more brutal and permanent system: the transatlantic slave trade. This wasn't just a simple change in who was doing the work. It was a fundamental shift in how human life was even defined on the island.
And this chart, wow, it just perfectly shows the demographic earthquake that followed. In 1644, you've got about 800 people of African ancestry. Fast forward just 36 years to 1680, and that number is 46,000 enslaved Africans. They outnumbered the free white population more than 2 to 1. The island's very soul had been changed forever.
So this new reality set the stage for centuries of struggle. From this point on, the story of Barbados is one of resistance, rebellion, and a slow, painful march toward finally being in control of their own destiny.
And this road to self-rule wasn't a single event. It was a series of incredibly important milestones. You have Bus's rebellion in 1816, a huge uprising that really shook the system to its core. Then comes the official abolition of slavery in 1833. But even then, real equality was still a long way off. It actually took until 1950 for all adults to get the right to vote, and that was the critical step that paved the way for full independence from Britain in 1966.
Okay, so after 1966, Barbados is its own country. But now it's facing a new challenge. How do you build a modern nation with its own unique identity, totally separate from its colonial past? Well, this is the story of how it became BIM.
And that nickname is so important. BIM, it's this affectionate name that Barbadians have for their island, is thought to come from an Igbo word from what's now Nigeria. The word is Bim, and it means my home. How powerful is that? It's a direct echo of the African heritage that defines so much of the island's culture.
A huge part of building this modern nation was breaking free from being economically dominated by sugar. After independence, Barbados did a really good job of diversifying. I mean, sure, sugar is still there in the agriculture slice, but now the economy is really driven by tourism and financial services.
But you know, a modern nation needs more than just a strong economy. You've got to invest in your people. And in this area, Barbados has absolutely excelled. It has a literacy rate of nearly 100%. That's one of the highest in the entire world.
This investment in people also created a new kind of national pride through global cultural influence. Barbados started celebrating the people who represent the nation on the world stage, forging this new, confident identity for the 21st century.
And maybe the most famous example of this happened in 2021. In the very same year that it became a republic, the government named the global superstar Rihanna a national hero. I mean, talk about a powerful symbolic act. You're honoring an icon who proudly represents a modern, cool, and influential Barbados.
Which brings our story full circle, right back to that historic decision in 2021. Becoming a republic wasn't just some political change, it was really the symbolic completion of this whole journey we've been tracing. It's a huge moment.
So what did it actually mean to become a republic? Well, simply put, it meant replacing the British monarch as the head of state with a Barbadian president.
Barbados is still a member of the Commonwealth, but now the ultimate authority, the person at the very top, is a citizen of their own country. And on that day, Dame Sandra Mason was sworn in as the first ever president of Barbados.
But here's what's so fascinating. You'd think a move this big would have had overwhelming public enthusiasm, right? Well, as this survey from 2021 shows, while more people were for it than against it, a huge chunk of the population was basically indifferent. It kind of suggests that for many people, the change was seen as a necessary symbolic step, more of an it's about time thing, rather than a dramatic popular revolution.
Through all of it, from the sugar fields to independence to becoming a new republic, the spirit of the Barbadian people is just so perfectly captured in their national motto, Pride in Industry. It really reflects a history of enduring unbelievable hardship with dignity and then building a future through sheer hard work.
The journey of Barbados is just this powerful story of a nation confronting its own history to take full control of its destiny. From a sugar colony to the world's newest republic, it has proven its resilience time and time again. The only question now is, what comes next?